If 10,000 realized beings walked around on this planet, everything would be done, everything. The right way, the way it's best for life on this planet.
Namaste, world raisers. Sabine and Roger here, and today we're going to watch Enlightenment is Not an Accomplishment by Sadhguru, and it was a request by Prachi Ektare.
Awesome. I'm really looking forward to this video, actually, because I do have an idea of what he might be talking about. So I'm excited to see if he conveys this in the way I think he will. So let's stab right into it.
Always, we have never referred to as enlightenment as an accomplishment. We have never referred to enlightenment as some kind of an achievement. It is only a realization. Realization means what? Something that's already there, you only saw it today. You were just dumb, you're right here, you didn't see it all your life. Suddenly one day you saw it. This is realization. This is not a discovery, this is not an invention, this is not an achievement, this is not any kind of attainment, this is just a realization. So realization doesn't need any knowledge, just takes eyes to see, that's all. You don't have to have knowledge about this tree to see it and know that it's there. You just see it. If you see it, absolutely see it, without any interruption of thought, emotion, ideologies, belief systems, simply you saw it the way it is in its entirety, this is realization. Now we're not even talking about a tree, we're just talking about ourselves, we just realized something about ourselves. It's the dumbest thing. But even the dumb thing doesn't happen to everybody. They're dumber than that. They're striving hard to see that it doesn't happen because they have enshrined their thoughts, they have enshrined their emotions, they have enshrined their ideologies, they have enshrined their belief systems, they have enshrined everything that is not true. So truth won't happen to them, that's all. When you say a thought, it is something that you concocted in your mind, yes? When you say emotion, it is something that you concocted within you. An ideology, maybe 10 of you together did it. A belief system, maybe you have 1,000,000 people with you, but you made it up. When you are giving such significance to things that you made up, things that are, things that which is the making of the Creator, not available to you because you're too busy with your own creation. Your petty creation has become larger than this grand creation which you can't figure anything about. Somewhere, your own thoughts, your own emotions, your own ideas, please see they've become far more important than any other cosmic phenomena that's happening right now. Moon is coming up, who cares? What you're thinking, what you're feeling is more important. It doesn't matter, the galaxies are blossoming right now, who cares? What I think and feel is more important, my thought and my emotion is more important than all this. So when you have such a skewed attention span towards life, realization itself looks like a tremendous achievement. So if realization happens without the necessary fundamentals, then naturally holding on to the body will not happen. The body and the being are bound to come apart because the realization is just that you realized that what you thought as you is not really you, it's a piece of earth. And what is you is something else, and it has no business with this actually. So if you want to be realized and still walk around, you can be around, but you can't walk around. If you want to walk around, then you must know all the nuts and bolts of life and the life-making material. You must know the mechanics of the system, then you can know how to anchor yourself to it. Otherwise, realization normally spells that you don't stay with the body. It doesn't matter really to yourself, but it matters to others. If a realized being can walk around, there are many things that can be done. If 10,000 realized beings walked around on this planet, everything would be done, everything. The right way, the way it's best for life on this planet. Who's driving? We're working? So how do you acquire this knowledge? That takes time and striving. Knowledge will not happen in a moment. Realization can happen in a moment. Knowledge will not happen in a moment. Any knowledge will not happen in a moment. One has to strive, one has to invest their lives into it, otherwise it'll not happen. Conditional investment is what I mostly get. Very few people are unconditional investment. Others are all conditional investors. Yes, Sadhguru, I want to do it, but… By the time we kick the butt out, life gets over. There are very few people, no buts. They're just here and that's it. With them we'll build knowledge.
So yeah, he touched on it. Yeah, just what I figured he was going to touch on. Yeah, it's not an accomplishment because it's not something that your ego acquires. It's the realization of what is already here, right? So the Buddha described it as the Buddha nature. It's always here, it's always present, it's always still. It's the ground, the very ground of existence. It's the pure consciousness and awareness that allows for everything to appear. And then my first teacher, David R. Hawkins, he would say that, the ego mind doesn't attain enlightenment. Enlightenment is revealed or realized once the ego is transcended. And of course, there's, levels to that. So you can have realizations, right? And then they're gonna shed the delusions and the ignorance of the ego, purifying it, until eventually we're in a state of unconditional love, which is like a totally pure and whole, spiritualized ego. But then even beyond that, once the ego is totally dissolved, totally transcended, then boom, that's when the non-duality happens and the real experience of enlightenment. So the ego striving for enlightenment, is going to be the biggest letdown to the ego because that doesn't get enlightened, right? Yeah, so that's why ego death, is really popular on the internet right now. But I think a lot of people don't really even understand what that's talking about, right? So there could be an ego death in the sense of letting go of the lower levels of pride and stuff and, fear and anxiety, but that would be like a realization, and then up to a higher level of more courage and acceptance. But what he was saying, that it's not an accomplishment because until you realize it, which is reality, and it's blatantly obvious once you attain that realization. So it's not an accomplishment because until you get there, you're dumb.
Oh yeah, you said that. That's funny.
That's amazing. Because that's just another way of saying, ignorance, right?
Yeah.
And people in today's world, it's like, we all adopt our identity and our belief systems and our mental structures and our programmings and our positionalities and our opinions. And anybody else who doesn't agree with us, we can label them as ignorant. But we're missing the point. We're not seeing the ignorance within ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're not enlightened, you're ignorant.
You're done.
Yeah. Yeah, I count my blessings, and I have nothing but gratitude for the teachings that I have come across, and even just for the capacity to understand. When I first came across the teachings about ignorance, and enlightened, realized beings and what they were teaching and the level from which they were teaching from, then yeah, you really gotta humble yourself and realize, okay, if I'm not enlightened, then I'm ignorant, right? And that's where humility can really come, to play a part, because you can't really, even the wisdom and the knowledge that Sadhguru is talking about, you can't really take that in if your cup is already full, right? So you need to empty it out and admit that I'm ignorant and I don't really know, what's going on in reality. And then you can start getting the conceptual knowledge and wisdom that's going to help you, let go and grow and evolve into these higher states. But it's not an accomplishment. It's just, getting smarter, more intelligence, more wise in the ways of actual reality. And I love what he said is that we still get so identified with our thoughts and our emotions. And yeah, the moon is coming up, but so what? I'm busy with my emotions and my opinions and blasting them all over the internet, or whatever the case that may be. So which is why I was also thinking during this video about just I had these realizations. Of course, being a spiritual seeker, you get to really contemplate and meditate and understand certain things like this, for example. We're so encapsulated in our thinking thoughts that we don't recognize, the miracle that is life. It's like, just take a minute and contemplate your own body, right? The fact that you have this thing that just automatically, you move your arm and you have hands and fingers and you can see and hear and all the senses. And it's like, how does this even exist? Right? How? Right? And then everybody's passing the buck like survival of the fittest and blah, 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 blah. Like there's no intelligence or, omnipotent energy that all of this is arising from, right? So we really got to contemplate this stuff.
Let's realize it with patience and persistence. One of my first mentors, she always said, like Sultram, always says, patience and persistence, Sabine, and patience and persistence. And only recently I really understood that teaching, patience and persistence, because you keep practicing. And even though you have your ups and downs and, whatever, you stay true to your intention to realize, to become to enlightenment, etc. And then eventually, karma will ripen and you will move up. And the realizations will be just naturally, and they will be out of the blue. But every path is unique. And there's nothing straightforward in that sense. Like there's no path.
There's no just one right true path. We all have our own individual paths. And part of that is realizing that as well. So then we can let go of the judgments, of projecting and judging other paths, because, we don't know. It's like every teaching is valid. So it's about the intention. The intention will compel you forward, right? So many blessings to you on your journey. And thank you so much for joining us with this video. If you like it, please hit that like button. Remember to subscribe. It really, really helps the channel. Let us know what you think down in the comments. And remember, raise yourself
and raise the world. Thank you so much, everyone. And a very special thank you to all our members. We love you.
Peace.